Good morning. Good morning. And welcome back to another episode on the Coin Kings channel. I am your host, Down to Crypto TA. I join the Coin Kings channel every Monday through Friday. Sometimes I might take a day off in between 6 a.m. to 8. And sometimes I might go over. All right, so I'm gonna kick it off with Bitcoin, but I'm gonna get into some other things here on the stream again today. We got to get into the stock market a little bit as well. Bitcoin seeing a little bit of a rejection here from the Golden Pocket 786. This is just pulled from the top side of this wedging structure that we had here on the 15-minute time frame, all the way down here to the low just here. It's one of the more one of the better pushes that we've seen from Bitcoin. So I have to say it might be trying to turn around a little bit, looking for a stronger push out of Bitcoin today, at least for today. If I pull this up, let me just do it like I did with the other ones here. And let's go with the 382. So we would just be coming up, approaching the 382 right here. I could put the 50 in here also, but I just found that this was significant here. So let me just switch this back to how I had it. That we were at least seeing a Golden Pocket 786 retracement in here. So could be a positive sign. That's all I'm saying. Could be a very positive sign. I am taking a long position on Bitcoin at the moment. I have not predetermined where I think price is going to get to. I just know that I picked some up, and I'm willing to add to this position right now. Starting to look a lot better on that 4-hour. The last time we looked at the 4-hour, we were discussing how the 4-hour had seen a top in price action, at least not price action, but on the MACD, that the last few times that price action came up, it actually topped around here on the MACD. So we're looking at that when and we took this short from here. So I'm still holding the short position. I only have 20% left on it. Remember, I was not really certain on how shorts were going to play out. So I took 80% out rather quickly, and I left the other 20% in just to see if I couldn't catch a runner, which I really was thinking about closing out the entire thing. So I'm kind of glad that I didn't close out the entire thing. But the 4-hour, it did had a cloud cover, which a cloud cover tends to drop price, but it kept ranging in that area, and the MACD just continued to rise. So it was a little bit confusing because I'm so used to seeing a cloud cover and seeing price like kind of reject from it. But I mentioned that it reminded me of the 2022, 2022, 2021 top for Bitcoin. We had a cloud cover there as Bitcoin made that final push up, taking out the prior high before collapsing. So that was what it reminded me of right here. And yeah, so I set an alarm clock in here for Delta, and it did go off on me. So like I said, I am picking up a little bit in here. I put a channel in here for this, but Delta, the last few times in this push up, Delta did kind of cap out right in here. So I set an alarm clock on it, and you can see how we are seeing, we have been seeing the reaction from down in here, but it's also the 28. We'll see if we do continue to roll over though. I would not be closing out the short position regardless of my thoughts on taking a long position from here, because we can still roll over. But I don't think that we go, maybe coming back into the trend line or something like that. That's on the table for sure. And then I'll be looking at something else here on the MACD. But I just found that interesting that we caught that confluence. We caught that confluence on Wednesday's stream. Let's see. On the daily from this entire push up, we haven't even cracked into the 236 Fibonacci retracement just yet. Let me just turn all of these on. I don't know what drama is going to come up as I do that. Okay, so right in here. All right, so We haven't even cracked into the 236 right here. So that would be the 236. We haven't even tapped into that. And I call myself drawing out a potential channel. It's not actually a channel right now. And the reason I say that is because there's only one tap here on the top side. So I need to have two taps on the top side along with the taps that we have down here, the two taps that I was able to connect it to on the bottom side. So it's not exactly a channel. It's just I am channeling. I'm channeling, but it's not a channel. So let me just be clear about that. You have to have more than one touch on both sides for it to be um, a trend in any sort of way. And right now, all I do have is the lower side. So I'm just kind of highlighting where the dynamic cloud starts for my QTD, and it starts here at the 78, and then it ends down here at the golden pocket. And I know that we have been looking for a long position, potentially, at some point when Bitcoin does decide, or if Bitcoin does decide that it wants to come back down. We were looking at something. I don't know if we're that low, but let me just double check. Where was that long position at? Make sure I got the right one because I might have the wrong one. Let's see. Yeah. So this isn't really gonna work right here anymore, and that's just because we would be underneath all of our ribbons, so that's not going to work. So we only have the three that are down here, the 60, the 50, and then the 40. That's how I identify them from time to time. So this right here will not work. What was this second one right here? Okay, so it was around about the same place. I was basically looking at the same place repeatedly. That's how interested in it I was. So if we were coming back, I would have to say somewhere around about the 382. That would be the depth of the move that we could take. And that's going to be back here around the top side of this wick, possibly even inside a little bit more, but within the 382 and the 786. So I'm going to move this up, and I'm going to set it just like this. Yeah, like that is good. Looking for something like that. And, I'll leave the top side like it is. I mean, we can always decide where we want to TP at. Plenty of places to TP in the event that this does happen. Right now, it still looks pretty decent. I'm going to take this away for now. And I'm going to delete that circle. Actually, let me just push this up. This is about what I would be betting on, somewhere right in there. Um, Even though, like I said, the dynamic cloud does stop right in here, and typically you don't want to be underneath that. That would mean we'd be outside of the cloud if we were doing something like the 786. I mean the 618. But in here, it's going to be a lot better if we're looking for success, because I think we'll also be below that weekly level, which is probably somewhere in here also. Um, so with the QTD, you can see it is continuing to roll to the downside, which is bullish. It's bullish. Um, Typically, let me just say that typically that is a bullish signal. Like I said, since we made our all-time high, since the all-time high, we fell below the dynamic cloud, and we have not been back above it until this moment. Now, with the dynamic cloud rolling over and the white line rolling over at the same time, that means no decision is really being made, because you really want to see it pop out like it did right here. So with it rolling down, there's a slight discrepancy in here. I don't want to dismiss that, but nonetheless, seeing this sort of behavior from it is bullish. And hopefully it presents itself that way. I know we all want to see a little bit of a pullback though, because I do think that we need a correction on some of the indicators anyway, because they're confusing as crap looking at them right about now. And I work with indicators again. I work with them, so I would like for them to to look a little bit better, but I like that signal that I'm seeing from the daily time frame, which could indicate continuation to the upside after we get a little bit of a correction in here. We are below zero. Okay, that's cool. We haven't put any bullish divergence on this indicator right here, which is something that I was looking at the last time. No bullish divergence here on the RSI as well. We did hit a topping point here on the RSI. We know that because we were comparing price action to comparing momentum and price action together to this top right here. So that was our ceiling for the moment, which does create some sort of a correction, but it doesn't mean a reversal. Okay, it does not imply that we're reversing, but corrections are part of price action. Whether you're going up or down, corrections are just part of it. So live with it. See if there was anything else in here that I needed to harp on. I mean, we would go sideways for a while if you ask me. Just if I weren't looking at any of that and I was just looking at I must have it right here. I was just looking at MACD. You can see the MACD is walking a line, so it's flat. It's going sideways. It does have some bearish divergence, which is to be expected. I mean, you can't compare this grinding to the upside to this fall that we got over here. So it just makes sense that we would have some, right? Delta is sitting closer to the zero line, which delta means, MACD is converging around its non-EMA, which is just a fast signal. Your slow signal is really like your best signal that you can get from MACD is your slow signal. Your fast signal is just your fast signal. The fast signal, and depending on where MACD is, can just be a correction and nothing more. It doesn't always end into a reversal. And in fact, most of the time, it doesn't indicate a reversal. So I'm just going to treat it as such for the moment. That is just the correction. And Bitcoin looks like it's about to pump. That's just my opinion. So I got 2 long positions open on it because that's how I'm feeling about it. Now, I don't have a lot of money in them, either one. But like I said, I am willing to add to that long position because I see us getting a little bit of a bounce back up today. That's just a little bit, just a little bit. Let me push forward. So I've seen some people state that Bitcoin tapped into the golden pocket. I've seen them put it on log scale and say it tapped into the golden pocket, or put it whatever they did. I don't know what they did. It does not hit golden pocket for me on anything. So I just don't know how to do it. Possibly that's it. I don't know how to do it. I haven't seen it. I'm still admiring the 382. I'm still admiring the 382 as a potential rejection point. And if we were to get through that, then I would be looking up towards that golden pocket, the higher one. Now, this isn't the one that we have where you draw it from here, like this. So for me, in this case, it doesn't tap into this golden pocket. It's not an end all be all. If it doesn't, it's not. There is no rule book that states that it has to. I'm just mentioning it because I know that some other people have mentioned it and it has not yielded for me. So nonetheless, we did reject from the 50%, which is the mean. So we did reject from the mean on the RSI right in here on this weekly time frame. And I've been watching this like a hawk, just waiting for it to roll over. It's still standing tall. It's still standing tall. But we were above here for a short period of time before we got the rejection back below it. And the other thing too that I've been talking about here on the stream, which is the monthly time frame. Now, I covered it a while back, and I started talking about it again the beginning of this week. And so I guess we've been covering it we've been covering it for a while. I know over a month or so, because I really let's see, because we talked about this floor in here. So the historical floor for Bitcoin right now we're at a 50.42. So I do think that right now where the RSI is, that requires this month to close above the 50. So technically it's not confirmed, okay? Because I've been discussing it and I've been letting you know that once Bitcoin crosses above the 50 or the mean, crosses above the mean on the monthly RSI, um, it indicates that the low is in for Bitcoin. You get a pullback, but you wouldn't put in a new low. Just put it to you like that. And it's really like the cleanest way of looking at it, because if you were to use something else, you get divergences in here. And this is after all of that happens. So it's a later signal, but it's a confirming signal that I like. And we committed to one of the signals in here, and that is coming into the floor, reclaiming the floor, coming below the floor, reclaiming the floor, coming below the floor, reclaiming the floor. But we actually need this month to close above the mean on the RSI in order to confirm like it did in the past. Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. I don't know. And I told you the only discrepancy that I had in here, or the only difference that I find between all of this, is you can see how close the bands are together with each other. And here they're spread apart. So, you know, I just have to see how that goes. Sometimes you'll tap into them, and then when you reject, they start to come together. That could be a thing. But this part is different. Like this space in between these bands, all of that is different. So yeah, shall see. I shall see. Let me see on the 3-month time frame. Well, we're gonna find so many things that are similar and so many things that are different. But you're out of bearish territory when you're above. At least you're exiting it for the most part. Um, taking time frame into to consideration. Uh, bearish territory. You're not necessarily bearish, bearish. All right, so back over here. Um, I'm gonna delete these. It was just me just trying to see how bearish we were, and I knew that we were bearish at that point. We were only coming up. We had this little breakup out of this little falling wedge over here at that time, and we only tapped into the 382 and rejected. That ended up being our previous day high at that point. Here we came up and we rejected. We had already dropped down. This was our prior previous day low. We'd already dropped down and swept liquidity off of that. And then when we pushed up again, we only did a 382. I was like, yeah, we're bearish. And then we did the same thing right here in this little area right here. Well, you can see it only did around the 382 50% retracement. So bearish. Just making sure I understood where we were bearish at. This one right here, I think initially I looked at it from here and it did come up into like the golden pocket 786 like it did over here. But once I drew it all the way down, because I was like, I know this is kind of choppy, so it looks corrective, but I was like, maybe I could still, 5 wave it some kind of way, even though it's probably not a 5 wave Elliott wave move. I just felt like still I could count the drops on it, and the 3 drops seemed to add up for me. So then I pulled it from there to here, and I was like, okay, yeah, 382, typical. I mean, if I wanted to count that as a, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but we didn't come in and tap where I would normally see it tap at on the 5th wave, which would have been the golden pocket extension. Golden pocket. Let me see. Yeah, so it would have been right in here. So I was looking to buy some right in there too, but we didn't tap into that. So that's cool. We just kind of lingered around this golden pocket right in here, trying to hold this golden pocket right in here. Um, but I think we're about to pump up. I think we're about to pump up. I was looking at the QTD here on the 15-minute time frame. I noticed that the cloud started scooping down, scooping this little way on down. I love when I see that. I love when I see that. I didn't actually really, really, really start to do it a whole lot more until not too long ago. Started to do it a whole lot more. So let's see. Maybe it just comes up and takes out this high right here and possible rejection uh, on that. But eyes long. And I didn't get long. I did not buy right here. Like I have criteria for where I buy. I bought earlier than that. I think I bought right around here within this golden pocket situation. I bought right in here. And when it moved down here, I was like, I won't buy it again until it hits that golden pocket. So my entry isn't even the greatest entry of all time. And you can see I solidly, like the bullish divergence was showing up everywhere. You had the bull divs right through here, the bull divs through here. You know, I have my floor here. So this is my floor line right here. And I just saw that we weren't committing to it. And we were just putting in some bullish divergence here on this 15-minute time frame. So I like that. Uh, I did get a drop and bull div on the 1 hour as well, if I didn't show you that. So right here on the 1 hour time frame, we had this break of this diagonal trend line right here. So that was one thing that I noticed on Bitcoin. I still was only willing to buy if it hit what I wanted it to hit. But it would have been in the middle of nowhere because it would have been, it could have wicked it. It could have wicked it because, I did want it to hold here. But I did get one swipe right here and a reclaim. But like I said, we started putting in that little falling wedge situation in here. So I was like, okay, maybe some sort of it's coming to an end and we're gonna see a pop up and put it like that. But yeah, we did end up breaking here, and then we put in some bullish divergence as we broke above it, and then we didn't continue with the same strength right through here. So a little slight bullish divergence in here. Well, through here, the bullish div through here. So I like that. When I looked at it on the 4 hour, like we didn't drop it low enough in here on the 4 hour period. All right, we'll look at the turn back up on the 50 or the mean. We're looking to turn back up on the mean right here. That just puts us in right here. So like I said, it could just be that we're taking the liquidity from this little top right here into these ribbons right here. And then we could see a rejection from there. So let me just be clear on that again. That could be all we're doing. And it looks better seeing it from here. We could be looking to take the liquidity from here and then drop. We hit some of the other stuff that I was talking about, which I said Bitcoin. When I talked about it on Wednesday, I said taking back this rising wedge portion right here. So we did take all that liquidity. That was something that we talked about on that rejection right there. It turned out to be way better than I thought it was going to be. Honey, if I thought for 1 second that this short could have did better, could have did this good, because I didn't think we were going to get all this. I know I wished for it. I said taking back, the liquidity from the rise, that would be great. But I had no faith. I had zero faith in it actually coming down as much as it was, which is why I took out 80% real fast. 80% got taken out up here. It's like I got that little 20% left in here. And that was when we got this right here. That was when we got this rejection right here. So, yes. We're neutral now. So bears are no longer in control on the 15-minute time frame. We are neutral at the moment. Bulls have more favor on the 15-minute time frame, and hopefully it'll switch over and it'll go from neutral to bulls in control. That'll be nice. And how long that will last, but that would be nice. At least for a second. At least for a second. So we shall see. We shall see. Like I said, neither of my positions on the long are the greatest because I didn't take it that from down here. So in fact, the best I did was when I got into it to, yeah. So the 79.7, um 720. So like I said, it's not a, yeah. I didn't bother to touch it down here. I didn't care about the bullish divergence, any of that stuff right there. I really was thinking that golden pocket, which I turned off so you can't see it, but from the fib extension. I was really leaning towards that. So that's one. And then the other one is barely, like this one is so bad. But I didn't mind. I was seeing the signs, seeing some things come into the charts ahead of time. And like I said, I was willing to be in a drawdown on it because I had some faith in the ability of it to get some sort of a pump. And this one is worse. This one is worse. That was 80,000. So this one is worse. This one is barely capping a profit. Yeah. Hopefully, we see an expansion right here. I know we don't actually have a Bollinger Squeeze, but we did have one, and on the initial attempt to break out, and which I think came from right here on the initial attempt to break out, or maybe it was, no, maybe it was right here. This was the initial attempt to break out, and it didn't do so well. Sometimes that'll happen. It'll pull back in, and then it'll get the actual breakout. Uh, so let's just go ahead and draw us a little. Since I'm going to use the price point just so we can see exactly what we're looking at here. Let me slide this over like that. So it's possible we could just take that liquidity and then fail. I mean, it's kind of like what we did over here. We took this liquidity right in here. Looks like we barely took this liquidity right here. And did we? Let me see. Let me see. Did we? Yeah, like we barely took this liquidity right here, like $8 right there. I'm not closing out either one of the positions, so maybe I'll take some profit from the second one, but the one that's really late, if it were to get into here. Okay, so we're dealing with this liquidity right here right now. But if we were to get into here, I would take a little bit something out of that other one. But the one where I just entered around 8,000, it was before all of this too. I'm not taking profit on that one at all. Because I'll take lower on it if it were to give it to me. All right, so this liquidity here. I hope everyone had a wonderful day yesterday. I was so tired yesterday. I really needed that rest. Okay, it looks like the Coin King did put a question in here. Have you ever panicked sold at the bottom? Yes. Yes. Yes, I have. If you've been doing this long enough, yeah. I hate for that little ball to be on the wick. But yeah, panic sold at the bottom. I panic sold at the perceived top. Like I panic sold. And I won't say that I won't ever do it again because I probably will. Probably will. It's called emotions. Let me see something. I just want to see how ZEC is. Okay, it's still holding down below that resistance level that it hit. I was looking for that to flag out so I can think about whether or not I had any remaining interest in it. Just wanted to see that. All right, so while Bitcoin decides whether or not it wants to SFP here at this little pivot here, and where we have the 786 at, which I'm thinking that it's going to actually push up higher personally, but the market will do what the market will do. I'm going to take a look over here at the stock market just a slight bit. Like I said, I like that cloud drop, but we'll have to see how that goes. Got my eyes on it, but I'm not gonna spend a whole lot of time. It's already 6:48. I got started at 6:15 today. I wanted to talk about something in here, just real quickly. Maybe not real quickly, but, let me see. I wanted to talk about the Philadelphia Semiconductor Index, known as SOX. And if you're not familiar with SOX, it tracks the 30 largest semiconductor companies. Like your NVIDIA would be in there, Intel, TSMC, your big players. It tracks those 30 in here. I'm under the impression now, if you followed me and you've looked at this before with me, I have like these three extension levels in here that I thought stocks could get to. So I did put out a tweet on it this morning. Or X post this morning on it. So there still is a flex for another additional $1,000 push up on this thing, but I feel like it is possible. It's possible that it's either topped or it's coming to its top. So I did mention that final. I didn't tell anybody the number. If you tune into the channel, you can see the number of how I think it could deviate. I just mentioned that $1,000 flex on it, just because it could not be the top on it. I like the way it has rolled back down below this first deviation that was in here. I see Bitcoin is pushing up. Nice, nice, nice job, Bitcoin. Um, but I was watching it here from the weekly time frame in here. So you can see that we're pushing above this ceiling right here. Now, one thing we do have to look for is we have to look for the momentum to actually roll over, which should come late on a higher. The higher the time frame, the later it's going to appear, right? So right now it is still pushing higher. This is the highest point, the highest momentum from the weekly time frame that stocks has ever done is right here at this 83.65. It's still pushing up. So again, this $1,000 flex is still in here. It's a little bit over 1,000 actually to that 1258 as far as the extension goes forward. So there's that one there, and then on the monthly time frame, there is one in here that's higher than here. Now it still hasn't even tapped into this, or it's actually tapping into this one now. Not quite, not quite, not quite. So again, it could still push up a little bit higher in here. before it may start to lose some steam on it, which means I would not be buying semiconductors at their tops at these high levels. Personally, I don't buy anything when it's up here this high. I just don't. I don't care. I don't care if it's going to continue running for another $10,000. I just don't buy things when they appear to be high. I just don't buy them. Um, but there may be a chance. There may be a chance to get some of your favorites. Like I said, it's the top 30 semiconductor companies. You maybe have a chance coming in here soon to get some of your favorites at some lower prices in here. Um, and so I'm going to be keeping my eyes on stocks for that to happen. Look at it from a 4-hour time frame. You can see how it swooped up and then came down and is starting to correct a little bit. You can also see the bear dip in here, which is to be expected. Um, you're going to see some bear div, but bear divs tend to lead to bullish divergence on the move down. So some sort of a discount is coming in here on some of the majors. Okay, so that's a good time to buy some of them. Once stocks does start to roll over a little bit more, I want it to roll over a little bit more. It will put in some bullish divergence. Ooh, probably by the time it were to hit, that's not enough for me, but that's a starting point, 10,863. By the time it were to hit something like this right here, you'd be looking at about a 60 on the RSI. So it would have put in some sort of bullish divergence because the RSI would be just below this point right here on this 4-hour time frame. And make sure I block this to here. So you will get some sort of bullish divergence in here by the time it were to hit that price target right there, that 10,863, which is going to move. They're moving, so it's going to move slightly, but it's close enough to what you need to know about stocks. And then I was tuning into oh my gosh, I always have to give credit where credit is due because I tuned into his channel. Let me hear what stocks he's talking about. Jeremy. I shared his channel on here before. Let me find Jeremy's channel again because let me just find it. Jeremy is a good fundamental analyst, really good fundamental analyst. He reminds me of the Coin King because the Coin King, he's good with fundamentals. He's not a technical analyst at all, but fundamentally, like just always on point. Just always on point for why? It's like why? How do you know this? How do you know? I can't know this unless I'm doing some sort of TA. Like, how do you know this? Switch. Find his name because I don't want y'all to know who I am for real, because I be in other channels lurking. So can't know who I am. His channel, Jeremy. I can't even pretend to think that I know how to say Jeremy's last name, but you can follow him on financial education. And this is one of the stream where he talks about 4 stocks to buy now. I didn't like all of them, so I'm just gonna tell you the one that I did like. I didn't like all of them. He does a grade card on them, going over their earnings and potentials and stuff like that. But I did not like all of them. The only one I actually looked at and I liked. No, that's Coin King suggesting the core weave, but I'm sticking the pin in core weave. It's Celsius. I like Celsius. So from the videos that he does cover, Celsius looks like a good buy. I actually put in a buy order for Celsius this morning. I'm gonna have to wait for market to open on this one, but I like this chart. I like where it is. Can it come lower? Absolutely. It can come lower. On its low, something that's been a major hit for me is the 0.886, especially when prices have pumped really hard and when prices come back down. It's typically, you're gonna have your golden pocket, your 786 and your 0.886. On that 0.886 is a major. Now, right now, it is sitting on some support. I don't have my levels turned on right now, but I will turn those on. But the low for this level where it's currently getting this sort of bounce from is down here at this 786 right here. And then again, like I said, it can come a little bit lower, maybe $10 lower. I would be looking at if it does more than that. I still think that this one is a good buy. I still like this one. I still like it. So I'm trying to buy some, and I will buy some more at a later date if it gives it to me. But my buy order is sitting in queue right now, waiting for market to open or for somebody to just take it because, I wasn't paying the pre-market price. I put a limit order in there on it. So hopefully that limit order gets hit. If it doesn't get hit, then that just means it's not one that I'm going to be owning. Doesn't mean it's not one that I should be owning, but it's one I'm not going to be owning because I'm gonna respect, gonna respect what I'm willing to pay for now. For now, okay. So in terms of the levels, I'm just looking at how it behaves around fibs. In terms of how the levels go, and let me turn these fibs off for a sec here so you can actually see. So we are at some support in here. Usually I put in my little price points, price notes here with $1. I decided to just combine things this time. So it's on the top side of this right here. So what would have read 32.17 is just a block. So it's about the top and the bottom for me. Just so you know that. It's about the top and the bottom. Sometimes things get trapped in between, but it's about the top and the bottom. So 32.17 is what we're currently sitting at for that support. $30.23 is the lower support for this level in here, which again, like I said, lines up with that 786. So I'll see how that goes. Right now, I'm not looking for too much out of it. It would have to do some bing bonging around before it actually saw some sort of a meaningful reversal in here. But again, it could also come down here, which is something I don't want to see, but I'm going to buy it. I'm going to buy Celsius. I like this chart. It's one of the ones that he talked about that I actually do like. Now, some of the other ones that I did keep in here that he covered, and I went ahead and took a look at them. It's going to be Honest. I don't like Honest, but Honest might be the one. Right now, there are 3 places for me on Honest. Either Honest is prepared to push up and tap here into this VWAP here. So I dashed out the areas of interest in here. So it didn't quite tap this one. Let's just say that for some reason it reversed and it came back down here. I'd be looking to buy some right in here. But it Honest might be the one again. Because I don't like it, it might be the one that actually gives. Like this to me doesn't look like it's going to do too much damage. So somewhere maybe here around this 504 possibly, and then into here. This zone in here where it last got that pump at. So if you want something that's a little bit cheaper and price action. Now, Honest used to be, I think it was like 20 something bucks at one point, which was huge. Yeah, so it used to be like 20 something bucks. Could it go back to that? I don't know. What I do know is it's not bad. It's just not one that I'm like, I'm gonna buy this one, and it's gonna be the one that probably pumps out there on me. It's probably gonna be the one. Maybe I will scoop up a little bit. I mean, maybe I will scoop up some when market opens. But from where it is now to right here, that's not enough. However, yeah, maybe I can say 2. Honest and Celsius. Okay. Honest and Celsius. So we'll see. But Celsius did report some good numbers, and Celsius just, sometimes report good numbers and they sell off on you a little bit. I'm about to switch back over to Bitcoin real quick just so we can get through this topping point in here, or we might flip liquidity, we might reject, or we might just bust right through. So in the long on Bitcoin right now. In the longs on Bitcoin right now. Crap entries, but in the long. So let's take a look back over here real quick. Now I'm gonna come back to you. I'll come back to those. Okay. So here we are. Pushing up, pushing up. We'll move this because I think what was that? The 382? That's what we were looking at right here. 382. Always an important level. Oh no, we passed that, baby. We passed. Hold on. I think I had to push it up higher. It's like she back. She back. Don't make it. She's back. Oh boy. It waited until I came back over here. Like, yeah, she back. Telling you. No, I'm not that special. Not that special. Not special. I am special. Just not that special, maybe. Um Oh, we did flip. So that was a perk. Like I said, I don't know how long we last right here, but Bulls are definitely in control right now on the 15-minute time frame. Bulls got it. I can see that right there. I want too many lines on the chart. I'm gonna hide this away for now. I want too many lines on the chart. I want you to stay focused on what we're looking at. At 382 was right here at this prior low right here. All right, so let me set myself up for some sort of greatness. Because I said that if we do get into there on the one account, I will go ahead and take some profit out. And the other one, I'm not touching anything because, to be honest with you, there's nothing to touch. There's nothing to touch. We're not getting that expansion that I wanted, that's for sure. Volatility high on the 4 hour suggests that we can take out this high. It also implies that we need to hold this low. Need to hold this low. So while I'm asking for that golden pocket, it's like you don't want that. That ain't what you really want. Now, if I were to move how I have this, you see that we're on the 786 instead of how I did it. As I think I drew it from there. So if I were to move it from there and just put it right here, you see it was 786 pop. 786 tap right here. If I move it like that, that's what you got. I want it to be a little extra. Just want it to be a little bit extra. Olu. I'm gonna try to get that hello, and I'm gonna try to say it properly. Olu. I'm probably not gonna get it. I hate to butcher names because mine get butchered all the time. Um, so if you don't mind, I'm just gonna say Olu Lickus. Dylan, I like the name Dylan. Hello to you, sir. I'm assuming, sir. So maybe I shouldn't assume that. But hello. Hello to both of you, and thank you for joining. Thank you so much for being here. It's always nice when someone speaks. People get really shy with me. I thought it was just when they saw me in person, but it's really when I've seen it a lot more. Maybe people just don't find me interesting. I don't know, interesting enough to have a conversation with me. But not a lot of people really chime into the chat. But in real life, people get real shy with me. Real shy. I'm just such a cool person too. Come on, Bitcoin. You took me away from the chart over here. Took me away from the chart over here. So you can see what we're looking at. In fact, that's the high of the dynamic cloud right there. What we're looking at for price action to come up and swipe, that's the high of the dynamic cloud. So if we break through that and we're getting back above the cloud, we might start to, be doing a why crypto YT. That's my buddy right there, everybody. Why crypto YT? What's up? Good morning to you. Good morning to you. I'm in a long Why crypto. I'm in a long. I'm in two longs. They're both not the best entries, but I'm in it. I'm in it to win it. So we shall see. We shall see. Bitcoin being a little shy right now. Um, I was looking to take some profit if we cross above that yellow line up there. Looking to take some profit off of one of them. The other one, I'm just going to wait, see where I could add to that if because I'm not going to close that one. That one is like phew, terrible entry. Mm-hmm. Happy Friday. Yes, happy Friday. Happy Friday. Were you here for this short while crypto? I know you were here that day, but I don't know if you took the short and then you saw me take like 80% out real early. Okay, you're sitting it out right now. Okay. I don't blame you. I don't blame you. It's been really hard. Like I was scared as crap on that short right there. I was really scared on that short. Well, scared in the sense that it just wasn't going to go too far. Shorts had not really been paying out, and the time frames were just you know, doing a little crazy stuff. I got some on it. Okay. Yeah. The charts have been doing a little bit of crazy stuff on the 4 hour and down. Just a little awkward. Um, so I was happy to see that 4 hour roll over a little bit more than what it had been doing. It reads that it's a neutral chart. Reads that it's a neutral chart here, but bulls are still in control of this time frame right now. I mean, as you can see, obviously, we haven't changed market structure for the 4 hour just yet, which would take some time to do. Okay, so we did tap into these ribbons in here. We just haven't managed to break that top one right there to hit what I'm looking for, that 83.71. We haven't managed to sweep that liquidity above that right now, which is what I was saying. We could just do that, and you know, there's still some levels in here on the table, but I'm hoping. Nope, not that one. Yep, that one. I'm hoping that this is a roundabout. I put my little alarm clock on it and everything. Like, let me know, let me know. This is around about where the delta kind of started to reverse around here. So I couldn't put no solid line on this one. I just mapped out the whole little area in here. So once this is gone, delta was dropping. Actually, that was the MACD down there. I have to look at something else. But I figure, why not give this a shot? Why not give it a shot? I've tried this before in the past with MACD, but I was never a big fan of it. But when we did it the other day, it was like, okay, it topped out around here, topped out around here. The last few times as we're doing this sideways kind of rising wedge structure through here. It's like maybe it'll work. Let's give it a go, because we're not tapping anything here on the RSI, nothing at all. Nothing at all. We put in the bear div through here. So even if I was using something through here, it wouldn't have worked, because we're just putting in the bear div and that rise through here. I would have had to just do, I would have had to do that and look for that break right there. Speaking of which, all right, so while we're going slow, and it's not much that I was looking for in here, but we're not actually sweeping that right now, I guess. I did take this little long over here. I took this little long over here when I got stopped out. I didn't take profit off of it at all. I was hoping that it was going to do better. I actually wasn't really paying attention. Well, I figured it could just get this high, but I wasn't really paying attention to, I couldn't even tell that it had did anything. And then, yeah, I got stopped out of that one. And then the saga continued to the downside here. But speaking of which, okay, so I was over here talking about this. I don't think it's bad. Maybe I will pick some up. I didn't want to. It's really far from like this low down here. I wish I'd have heard about this earlier. Really, really. Blame somebody else for it, but not bad, not bad at all. So with Celsius Honest, and then of course, like I said, the Coin King is the one that's talking about Core Weave, which I think they had some pretty brutal numbers or something like that. Maybe it's something about spending possibly, because we can see pre-market is down to like 119. If I can get this one back down, so I got this dashed out right here. Maybe back in here, I would pick some up, and then this seems to have been like a big place for it right here. I don't. Yeah, it had just did this breakup right here, but um maybe not there, because that means that it comes. Yeah, I wouldn't like it then. But somewhere between where this dash line is and here, if it comes back into one of these, then possibly I'd rather buy it under $100, to be honest with you, if I were to do Core Weave. But aside from that, aside from spinning, I think that Core Weave is a good company. It's definitely going to do more than what it did prior, that 187. So good company. I'm just tired of these companies with the 3 digits. I need something. I need to be able to buy something that's not 3 digits. So now Nvidia are doing a partnership. They have some sort of a partnership in place right now. We're still trying to get our stuff together here on now. But I am in profits on now because I did buy it, and I said you, yeah, well, not financial advice, but I would buy it now too. Now, so now it's looking pretty good. All of the SaaS, I'm tell you, all of the SaaS is looking pretty good. So I'm just gonna pop back over here on the weekly time frame. You have to pardon all the noise in here from all my levels on now. But let's take a look here at actually before I go to Adobe. This one has been doing pretty good. This is the one I posted on this one back then. Because when I looked at it, I was like, oh, okay, it had already pushed again, it had already pushed away from here. um Dino Trace had already pushed away from there. I looked at the chart. I can't even remember how I ended up looking at Dino Trace. I don't know. It popped up somewhere. It wasn't on YouTube or anything like that, but it popped up somewhere, and I was like, let me take a look at the chart. So I look at the chart and I was like, this isn't bad right here. It's possible that this one right here might have already tapped the floor and it's going to start pushing up from here. So I just popped, popped in, did some analysis on it, some quick little, support and resistance levels and things like that, zones, all that good stuff. Put a whole bunch of noise and stuff all over my chart. And it's like, it had pushed into right here. And I said, this is a good buy from here. I hope it remains that way. Now, I did put some take profits in here. I'm not in this one because I don't buy everything that I chart on. Some stuff I just chart on because I just like to chart on it, and it's there for other people to take advantage of if it works for you. Yeah, I'm always hoping that if I do something that it does work, right? But I was like, I think this is a good buy from here. Let's see. I think this one's a good buy from here. Where were you at? Where were you at, Donna Trace? $ DT. I didn't even have it bookmarked. There it is. That's where it was sitting at. I was on the 2 week time frame for it. I'm on the weekly time frame right now, but this is where it was right here. And I was looking at this one. I was like, I think this one is, it could be a solid buy from where it's currently sitting at. Like I know you're not catching it at the bottom, but I think this is a solid buy right here. So I like it. Like I said, I ain't buying none, but I didn't buy any. I didn't buy any. It wasn't one for me. Like I like to be interested in whatever I'm buying. But it looked kind of solid in here. So I'm glad to see that it is pushing up. Looking at the CP right here around about a 60 RSI right here, 43.40, somewhere right in here. Possibly even push up to the actual level right here. Then if it gets past all this and breaks out, then I'll be looking all the way up here to that next zone in here where it's seen quite a few rejections from right through here. It's a choppy chart. That's one of the things I noticed about it. Prior high somewhere around $80, but not shabby, not shabby. Um, Adobe, we talked about Adobe. I mentioned I'm not buying this one, but Adobe potentially had a floor tap right here. So that's a floor, and that's the common. Like this is a common area for it to reverse. Like it might swipe below it and come back up. So I had both of those on in here. So it also tapped into the support level. I usually pull them from the monthly. Sometimes I'll go with the weekly, but I usually pull my support levels from the monthly time frame. It had already tapped into that monthly support level right there also. So it was looking pretty decent for some sort of a bounce. It's just not one for me. Now it's the only one that I'm buying from these. CRM, same thing in here. Floor, potential floor right here. Has been bouncing away ever since that. If I were to do it, I think I mentioned if I were to get into this one, I would need for it to do something like this right here. What would that look like? I would probably have to zoom out on the monthly time frame for a little bit lower in here. Yep, for a monthly time frame. But actually, that would negate this over here. So maybe not. Maybe not. It would negate. It would negate this in here. So maybe not SanDisk. We had some levels in here for SanDisk. Well, we know that it hit the 1.618 in here. Let me go on a weekly time frame in here. No, actually, I don't have any level SanDisk. SanDisk is just wild, but it did hit the 1.618 in here. Oh yeah. I did have this in here on the monthly, but I was looking to see if it didn't push up in here higher, which I'm pretty sure it will. It's SanDisk. It's doing some crazy stuff right now. Absolutely wonderful, wonderful, especially for people who bought this last year. Yeah, if you bought this last year, man, kudos to you. Ooh, kudos to you. So if momentum does continue to push up higher in here, I will be looking for something like that. But yeah, I don't think that that should be there. Hold on, it's there, but why is it there? Why is it up that high? I don't know why it's up that high. That's interesting. It's up that high. Why? I don't know. I don't need to put a floor on a midpoint, but it's there. I don't know. I don't know. I don't like it. I'm getting rid of that. Um, SPY did hit a rejection level in here. Potential, and you can see how it got the reaction and all that good stuff once it came up through here. But SPY, and this was supposed to be like the deviation that I had for SPY. Um, it was the highest deviation that I had. I got one more deviation in here. Like I said to you the last time, like I would look for SPY to tap out at this top side of this box right here, which it did get a quick little rejection in here. But of course, it looks like it's just not slowing down whatsoever. If it's not this, my next place is going to be the ascending trend line in here, which, as I explained, is based on, maybe you can't see the taps from this time frame. Not, it's not the best way for you to see it, but it's this trend line through here. Uh, I will look for this to get tapped. Oh God, I hate when I do a level and then it gets ran through like that. Okay, so like this would be next for me, and then after this is the last deviation that I have for it. It's gonna be all the way up here. Spies in a world of its own. But kudos. We caught this down here. But I didn't. Again, I don't trade everything. Even when I see it, I don't trade everything. But we caught that down there. Um, Dang, I was hoping I was gonna catch this top right here. Win some, you lose some. So that's that. See if it was something else in here. Nvidia was looking pretty decent. AMD I thought had also, now AMD completely broke through the level that I had. I did not put another deviation level in here for AMD at all. So that was it on AMD. For me, I haven't looked at any of the other stuff in here for AMD, although I can see right here it might be something in here now. Did it? What's the max it is done? It's gone higher before. It's gone higher than that before. So maybe not. But this was it for me. You see, I had put a little pause over here, but it completely broke through here. So I don't have another, I don't know why I got this line in here. I don't have another deviation in mind for AVAX, I mean AMD, because I think when I did this, I looked at where it started to break down from prior, like when it went into price discovery, and it was right here, but it straight blasted through it. But like I said, with socks, uh, some things could be preparing to top. Some things can be preparing to top. Intel, Now I was looking at a 9306 on a 3-month time frame. Okay, so we're pushing straight up through this one, which is great. That's what you want to see. You want to see it break up and then you want to see it roll over. Right now it's just broken between this first one right here and it's still pushing. So the first one was like a 74.40 and it's still pushing higher. So this is crazy. This candle right here is just ridiculous. This candle is ridiculous. Boy, when this stuff rolls over, when this stuff rolls over, it's gonna roll over, especially the Intel one. It's really gonna roll over. Got nothing like nothing underneath you really. But we've seen it reject off of some of these fib levels before. Little reaction there at the standard at the at 2. I think that was it. That was it. What I really wanted to talk about. Well, I think that was it. I don't think that this is. This has still been standing on business. I like the fact that this has still been. Um, I mean, I don't know why I say I like it because I bought Amazon on the drop that it had got, and you know, for me to be happy about it rejecting around about a level that I was, strong about at least. Like this one is at least respecting the deviations that I set in place. And remember, I said about 278 on the deviation for this one instead of even calling for the 279, which it hasn't actually tapped it, to be honest. But I was saying 278 on this one. But it has additional deviations in here, but at least this one has a little bit more respect for the deviations that I set out for watching Bitcoin. So this one right here has been stalling around the golden pocket here on Google, Google. Does have the bullish divs down below though, so just know that it does have the bull divs as it's doing this little rising thing in here, because that is not the same. It's not the same energy, but I wouldn't mind if it rolls over. I don't have Google. This one I didn't think was a good one. Really, in terms of what was it? What were we looking at? I was saying if it loses this 382 50% retracement, problems. But I was looking at it from a weekly time frame. I didn't like any of this. I didn't like any of this. But it might be preparing to break out. It might be preparing to do like the biggest breakout ever. I will not be buying this. I'm gonna need for this to come down. But much respect to anybody who's in Microsoft right now. I remember we did look at a position in here from Microsoft. I think it was around about this 289 or something like that. Initially, back in the day, we had waited on that for several months, calling for price action to get that low. Um, and then I said, I got to dismiss this position. I have to dismiss it before any of this stuff happens. I got to be, yeah, I can't do this one. So I closed this out completely. As I went back on X and I let you know, hey, it's a signal in here in the chart right now. It's suggesting that Microsoft is about to go lower. So abandon ship. And we got that drop here. Thank goodness that signal played out too. Might have saved some people, or maybe some people just like, yay, buy more dip, and good for you if you did, because it's not bad. But I don't know. I'm still a little bearish on Microsoft, but it might have done like everything else. May have done like everything else. I think I had to look at this from a monthly. Yeah, I did. Possible floor. Possible floor break and reclaim. I think, yeah, that's what I was looking for in here on Microsoft. And I was like, if it fell lower than this point right here. Then this will be the next one right here. But I really was looking for like a break and a reclaim because I think it did it prior in the past too. Like it did do a break right there, did a slight one right here, but it did a serious one right there, which is why you got this one right here. Um, but nonetheless, yeah, I mean, it met where it was supposed to have met, I suppose. This is what, 39.94. Yeah. So coming back into this red one right here, which is typically about a 40 when it's red. When it's red that way, it's about a 40. So it did pop where it's supposed to pop into. And I guess that's the break and reclaim right there. I still don't like it. I say this one still has potential to come down lower. Maybe putting in another shoulder. I have no idea. Could be putting in another shoulder. Rooting for you though, since it is holding that 382 50% retracement, which you can't tell from that chart right there. You can see from this one. I haven't pulled any of these numbers out. That could be really good right there. That can be really good. That looks weird. I'm not gonna pull all this stuff out. I just wanted to fix that little bit there. There was nothing. I usually just go back over the same ones. I really just wanted to talk to you about Celsius though. So Celsius, I think it's going to be a good buy. Let's see if my order gets filled on Celsius, and then I may do Honest. I may do this one. I might do this one. Uh, I honestly might want to wait for a little bit of a pullback in here on Honest. Now the VWAP is not here on the other time frame. It is here on the 4 hour. Um, it's higher than this if you were to be on the weekly. If you're on the weekly, it's going to show up right here. But on the 4 hour, it reads right through here around this resistance level, which it tapped that resistance level perfectly right in there. But check those two out. Let me know what your thoughts are on those two. I like them. I really like Celsius. The one I don't like too much, but I like. I just realized I like it. It's Honest. Might be the one I need to buy. So I pick up a little bit today. Still down on. I'm up on mostly everything. I did buy some of this over here. The big monster Nike. I did buy some of this one right here. I bought it. Just a tiny bit higher than here, but it's down here nonetheless where I bought it at. So I'm down a little bit, a few dollars, like $3. Something petty. I bought a little bit, and I know that this one right here still has potential. If it did choose to come lower, it could drop all the way down into here. I think this was like one of the target zones down here. Initially, my main target was 47.25 from old post that I did on it. Was 47.25, which we did break below that. We came back tested it, rejected from it, but I did pick up some of this one here. I just wanted to share with you that one is not doing not really moving right now, and that's to be expected. Like, I mean, come on, people are scared of this thing right here. And so I bought some because people are scared of it. If there was one other one that I would probably be looking at, and I think, yep, it's Caterpillar. I haven't looked at this in a long time. I think I glanced at it the other day, like, oh, okay, so these levels in here are still being respected. This is old stuff. I don't even know what I put in here on this. I would say, yeah, 6 months. So it might still hold some weight because they're from 6 months. But aside from that, no, it's not Caterpillar then. This is not what I was looking at. Oh, yeah, 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 yeah. Oh, yeah, 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 yeah. So Cat, for a rejection. That's what I was supposed to be looking at cat for a rejection. For a rejection. Because oh no, it's been a couple of months now since we did cat. The last time I talked about Caterpillar was right here, and I was saying that I would, it's a good short if it dropped below this 751. That was the last time I talked on Caterpillar, because cat has been, yeah, yeah. We had, yeah, we talked about it back here, back on February 3rd. We talked about it. And then we talked about it again right here. Yeah, February 19th. We covered this right here. Um, we covered this right here. I was like either a close below 751 or a breakout above the flag. And then I talked about the breakdown. Um, I'll be watching around about 724. Honey, that thing went way below that 724, that's for sure. Way below 724. So would have been totally wrong on a long entry on that one right there. But nonetheless, we did get that breakdown. Like if you were looking for a breakdown, it would have to be below that. Because at the time, I think it had like some sort of a flag on it. So it's like, yeah, you got to get that breakdown below that level right there on that breakdown. We talked about potential rejection right here, which we did get. I think I covered some zones in here after that breakout happened where I said it could reject somewhere right in there. I think I did. I just don't remember. Remember, this was one of the, like, looking for it to come into here. So that was like one of the first rejections we got on it. So that trend line has been doing its little duty in here. I don't think I posted anything else on it. Yeah, this trend line in here has been doing. Uh-oh. Did I take you guys off? Did I hit close? Oh my gosh. Yes, 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 I did. I did. My bad, my bad. But this trend line in here has been doing its job on making sure it holds it down um, here and there. So that's what I was supposed to have looked back at it for. Because of that, that is what I was supposed to have looked back at it for. I think I should move this line at this point, though. I think I should. It's different from how I would normally draw my line too, but it stuck with me when I looked at it. So it has played very well for cat. Dang, I should have got cat down here. I do want to get something. I'm just waiting on Bitcoin to cross that line, and it hasn't crossed it yet. This is another one right here. Now I'm still under the belief that this one right here has the potential to go higher. Of course I am, but of course I've also highlighted places where I thought it would see a rejection from, based on history. Based on history. So this is one I haven't looked back at in a while either. Um, FedEx, FedEx. Mm, let's say no on that one. Oh, on that gold, oh, look at this sucker right here. ExxonMobil came up, got the back test off of the breakdown from the momentum in here, and yeah, saw its rejection right there as well for a little head and shoulder formation in here. That's right, because when it hit this, was looking for where it might come back to down through here. Exxon is the one I'm willing to buy. Not right now. Not right now. Chevron. All right, but anyway, on gold. Oh, no. Let me not do that. Put this chart back. What is this? Newmont. Hmm. I'm just putting in some bullish divs on this one right here. Newmont. Something. Hold on. I'm sorry. I'm trying to get this back. I'm gonna put it back on SPY so I can see what SPY ends up doing today. All right. So on that gold, on gold, I was looking for an entry lower on gold. I ended up having to take the entry anyway. I ended up taking it anyway because I know I was looking at it here off of the 4-hour time frame. I was saying that if gold came back into here, that I was willing to take a long off of it and see if I deleted that long position on it, which I probably did because I was no, it's there. It's still right here. No, that's not it. That's not the one. It was something in here, so it's gone. But I was sharing on stream on, I think it was Tuesday or something like that. Because when it was down here, I said I would buy it. I didn't buy it. Then it moved, and then I came back and looked at it, and I was like, yeah, if it come back down into here, I would buy it. It didn't come back down into here. I ended up buying some yesterday. It was either yesterday or the day before. Yesterday, probably. Yesterday. Yeah, I ended up buying some yesterday because it looks like it was gonna actually bought it. I bought it. Ooh, yeah. I bought it right off of this candle right here. I'm not sure where on this candle right here. Gosh, I hope it wasn't the exact top up here. But no, it wasn't the top. I bought it right here. I bought it right here at the start of this candle open right here because it had pushed above here and I was like, okay, maybe it's just gonna go higher. I'll go ahead and buy a little bit. So I did buy some right here. In fact, it was right here. It was off of this candle open right here. It was off of the open of this candle right here. I bought some, so I'm slightly down. It looks like on gold. I know it was hitting some resistance. I see Bitcoin decided it wouldn't take that liquidity, so it is seeing a bit of a rejection there. Um, I think it was hitting some resistance through here. You can see that little top and tail candle right there. So I'm glad that it did push up back towards my entry, at least towards it, a little closer to it. Um, I got this VWAP in here with the standard one on in here. Uh, with the hopes that maybe it could take out this top, but I do believe that this was hitting like some resistance in here. Let me take that away for a minute. Was I seeing it from this time frame or was I seeing it from somewhere else? I can't recall if it was from this time frame that I was seeing it or if it was somewhere else that I was noticing. I don't know if this was what I was noticing or not. I don't know if this is what I was looking at or not. It could have been that I was looking at it from here. Because the other long you saw was me hoping that it came back into this trend line, which that hasn't happened. That has not happened. And you can see how I did the levels in here. For anybody who's wondering on these levels, it's basically, it's that point to this point right here. I did this point to something on the 3-month time frame, I believe, or the monthly. No. Where did I do that from? Hold on. Where did I do that one from? I can't remember how I did this one. I know it's from here, but where I got that low from, I can't tell you. And then this one is just this and this little notch right in here. So that is how I came up with that level right there. And then this is weekly and daily, I believe. I use a weekly and a daily. Yeah, I use the weekly and a daily on that one. So that's how I determine my levels in here. But I'm hoping that it could at least get into here. It is facing some resistance. So you saw that off of that weekly time frame. It is facing some resistance right there. So I think the other thing, I think I did look at something in here. No, I did not. I just noted that I think the last time when I had looked at it off of these lows right here was just the fact that it had not fallen below the mean just yet. Like it was respecting the mean um throughout this entire run to the upside. Once it came above, you can see how we stayed above the mean through here. And it hasn't faltered below it. So once that happens, yeah, just get out of the way of a moving train, okay? Once that does happen, because that's going to be different. And behavior changes is something I'm really big on in the market as well. Change of behavior, not change of character, change of behavior. If it hasn't done something before and then it starts to do something that it hasn't done before, I pay attention to that because it's weird. It's weird. That's how women always figure men out. Be doing something you weren't doing before, you know? That's weird. See what's going on here. Expect the gadget. Yeah. So if it starts to break down below this mean, then it's something to watch for. Uh, as it has not done that since the great rise. Mean right now. I hate for all that other stuff to turn on with it. Yeah. You can see where I got that last mean bounce from. You know what? So you can see it a lot clearer. How it's up away from it. You can really see it when you turn the line portion off. Turn the candles off on it. But that green line right there, that green line right there. So once it does, it's a little different. It's a little different. Gold here. We'll see. Another not so great entry. But I'm just betting on this right here. If it happens, if it doesn't, it doesn't. Actually, if it gets through that, on the weekly, it might do a little bit more than that. It might. Um, That tail is something else. I don't have any data there. I don't have any real data. We'll take it back to Chime, Bitcoin. Take it back to Bitcoin. So that 70 right here, right about this golden pocket right here. For now, this is going to be where you don't want to see price action roll back below. So we are looking for price to actually break out. I'm going to see if it does do a sweeping liquidity grab, so an SFP. I'm going to see if it does do an SFP right here. But if it does do an SFP, like right now, we just seem to be struggling to even get that much done. See what we're hitting through here. But on a rejection, it would need to hold here. If it doesn't hold here, then it's back below areas that not going to be so great. Not going to be so great. We'll see if we don't break out. See if we do more than an SFP if we get it. If we get it. See if we can do more than that. Again, we did have a momentum breakthrough here, which I mean, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. For bigger moves, we had the bull div through here, just like we had the bullish divs on the 15-minute time frame. We do still have that squeeze. We do still have that squeeze on the daily. So I guess if I was looking for anything, let's say we break up past here. Let me just see where 20, actually, let me just do a 20 SMA. Let me just do an SMA just so I can see it without having to. It's a 9. Okay. Oh, so I'm trying to check something else out. So back into these lows right here around 80,936 up into here. Let me see what that's going to be. I'm going to use this instead. I like it right there. Things can change. I'm just going to pull it like this just so I can see. Okay. So it would be maybe that 50 for rejection. Um, maybe that 50. Might be looking at something like that. I was already watching for that one, but it might be more so something like that. Maybe even a slight little prick above it or something on that 20 SMA. That could be about it. Like I said, the volatility range is in terms of the high. If Bitcoin were to push higher, it would cap it out somewhere around the prior where we got the rejection from. It would cap it out there, but there is some resistance showing up in here. Yeah, there is some resistance showing up right here, though. On some other indicators, there is some resistance showing up right in here. And the 20 SMA was the easiest thing for me to use to kind of figure out one of those indicators, just the 20 SMA. That's what it uses. Which would be a bearish rejection for Bitcoin. This looks like a 1, 2, 3. It looks like 3 waves. 1, 2, 3, right there. This is gonna look weird. Hold on just a moment. Oh, why are men such babies? Bless y'all little hearts. All right, so that's my thoughts on it. Something like that. I was just trying to see on that 3 wave is more like a 1-to-1. I mean, we saw it was 786 retracement, but just wondering about that. I would like to see us push up a little bit more. I don't want to see any sort of a rejection take place on this time frame from here. Because if it does, it's going to do the same thing on the 1-hour time frame. It's kind of bearish for it to happen. It would do the same thing right around in here as well. as I'm looking to remove this, to at least get that sweep. Hmm. Sometimes we move slow around a zone, and then all of a sudden, we see like some big candle, pop out. Sometimes that happens. Um, mm, if we don't get it, I think that might be the indication that we don't get it. If I look at it like this, you can see we're already losing steam. If I looked at it like that, then it already saw some sort of a rejection prior to getting there. Even if I looked at it like this, it already seemed like some sort of a breakdown there too. Yeah, so you can't even tell it did it over here because it's only like an $8 difference. Mm. All right, slow as molasses. Um, mm. Okay. Bitcoin. So the last time, I think it was Tuesday, we were looking at Zcash in here because I was telling you that I bought it. I bought it on spot, but I picked it up at like 200. Picked it up on the retracement down into this zone right here to this one right here. Picked it up in here, and I just happened to look back at it. Um, I think it was that same day. No, it was on Tuesday. Yeah, I happened to look back at it on Tuesday, and it's like, oh, okay, well, it's up. It's up 100%, a little bit over 100%. I'll go ahead and close it out. So I closed it out right here. It's like 4:30 or something like that. I closed it out right here, and then it finished getting this move out to the next level in here, which was this 597. Only has one more level in here, and that's the 672. It looks like it could potentially. I was looking for it to flag out in here to make a decision on if I was going to do like a leverage trade on it. But I took the cash off of the spot trade. Um, if it manages to flag out in here. Got these little red dots in here right now, but it still looks pretty decent in here. We'll give it time. If it does look like it's going to break out, I am going to take a spot position on it. I mean, not spot, but a actual leverage long position on it this time, just to see if I can't get it up into here. It might manage to push higher than that. Uh, was I seeing any bear divs on this? No, I wasn't actually seeing any bear divs on it. It has a nice little rising trend through here that you can see. Nice little rising trend through here. You had the breakout trend down through here as well. But as for me, I just looked at the likely level to hold in here, which was here for this breakup. I like this inside range. One sec. Let me fix that trend line there. I like this. But we can see it's coiling and flagging a little bit in here already. So Is it gonna break out from there? If it's is it gonna come down some for come down a little bit more? I really would rather do a back test into this area right here, but it looks strong, so I wasn't really expecting much off of it. But it's a pretty decent chart. I just keep my eyes on it. I might end up missing it to tell you the truth. Something else I wanted to look at. I don't really have anything in here for this one. I don't have any analysis laid out for it. It's January 29th. I don't even know what that was. I'm scared to click on it, to tell you the truth. But hey, I was looking in the right direction, so that's good. uh, what is this? Yeah, this one already did the last breakup on this one. Um, I would have to map this thing out. Actually, I won't be able to map it out because it's basically in price. I mean, it's in price discovery. Only thing you can do with this one is use and see it just got that expansion on it, VVV. So this thing is still really strong outside of band two, at least on the daily time frame, which look like on here. Oh, it's just been riding. Oh my gosh, like this has been beautiful. Just staying within the trap. Wow. Just stayed in the trap right here. Down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. I mean, this is beautiful. Got nothing here other than to look at extensions. Um, it probably won't show up on the monthly. Yeah, it won't show up on the monthly. This thing is crazy. And this thing is wild. Huh. I have to wait for that to happen on this one. Um, that usually works on the, let me see, let me move out and see if one of these time frames gives it to me a little bit differently. Bearish divergence on the 4-hour time frame might not yield too much, but it does have it here. This is probably the only place you can add like another deviation onto it. But I do like the bear div in here. This might flag out some more. Strong chart over here. 4-hour strong chart. Hmm. $15.6, $16.8. If this doesn't start to squeeze again, then these will hold. If it starts to squeeze again, it just saying, just in case. Do it like that, just in case. As long as it's not squeezing, I don't expect for it to get that high. Obviously, not as long as it's not squeezing. If it does start to, I think I already see the little curves in here starting to turn into an onion in here already. But if it doesn't and it attempts to go higher, it'll reject right through here. It will reject. Let me change the inputs on this one right here real quick. I'm gonna add that one, and then As long as it doesn't, again, as long as it doesn't squeeze, if it tried to push up into one of these, it would get rejected. Um, Likely get rejected. I do this all the time. Um, for finding like where price action will probably, if you have nothing else to go off of, Bollinger Bands is really good in terms of deviations. It's really good with kind of figuring that out. It's something that I do, like I said, I do this all the time. It's how I did Amazon. It's how I know certain like places, as long as it's not squeezing, certain places it's just going to reject from. Although it's not working for SPY too much right now, it is how I figured out SPY's deviation as well. As long as it's not squeezing, it's likely going to be like a rejection point, but you have to find something that actually fits for it, because those other time frames, you're just going to see it pushing higher and higher and higher. Other time frames is good for like where it might bounce from, but it won't be good for where it might reject from. So this kind of stuff works. It didn't do a good job with AMD in here, as you can tell. AMD managed to just break through here, but the time frame I used on AMD wasn't helpful either. I'm more than likely sure the time frame I used on AMD wasn't helpful, but this thing right here, I like it a lot. I just think that it's overextended at this point, though. I would be looking forward to, yeah. And just pull that out a little bit more. It looks kind of tight. It's already got a nice little topping tail in there with some bearish divergence, but it's going to put in another bull div and try to push back in here. Be a good rejection point for it. And since the chart looks so good on the higher time frame, it's worth looking for a long versus, trying to take the short off of it. But boldness be to those who do. Um, Best of luck in that. If you do. Let me see one more thing. Yep. Very strong chart. Let me turn that back. Let me see. Bitcoin still holding down below that. It looks a little off on my top side. Let me just check. Yeah, I like that. The VVV. crazy. Something else was in here looking pretty decent. Let's see. I didn't have any TA or anything like that in here on these charts. I think a lot of them I didn't have anything on them. Come here, Pippin. Pendle. I haven't looked at this stuff in a while. So I was trying to see where that was at. Okay. Because if it was doing something like this right here, it would be back in this zone right here. Around about between 243 to 274 is what it would be doing if it was to meet up with this right here. At least if it was to meet in with that, it would be right around here. So this is a nice little push up for Pendle. I'm just wondering. I'll make sure this doesn't move past here. So you still got about a good, could still get a good, I'm gonna push it all the way up to it. About a good 34% left from a move in here, potentially about another 34% left on Pendle. If it keeps pushing up, it will be on the daily time frame. It looks like it could be facing some resistance immediately right in here, but that weekly time frame would just be like some sort of a little small pullback and then continuation up if you get that here. Let's see, back on the weekly. Yeah, it just crossed above. Yeah, it just crossed above here, looking pretty decent. But you do, yeah, that looks likely though. That looks pretty decent on Pendle. Quite a bit of resistance in here. Oh, Bitcoin did it. God dang it. I knew it was going to be as soon as I take my eyes off of it. Soon as I take my eyes off of Bitcoin. As soon as I take it's always like I was going to TP right there. I didn't put in a limit for the TP. It's already swept that liquidity up there and got the rejection. I just happened to glance over at my other screen and be like, God dang it. Every time I want to talk about something else, this happens. That's why I just stick to Bitcoin. I get into the stock market stuff, something happens with Bitcoin. I get into some sort of altcoin, something happens with Bitcoin. And the only thing I'm trading right now is Bitcoin. That's the only thing I'm trading. Everything else is an investment. And it did it. It didn't give me enough time to just come back over here so I can take my TP on that thing. It's already done that little pop up. Crap. I just thought Bitcoin was being boring. Every time I get on here, the stream slows down with the boringness. Like, let me look at something else. But really, I need to stick to where my money is at. Ay, 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 ay. And it's 8:33. Um, it's time for me to kick rocks too. Got a cloud cover on the 15-minute time frame. Let me just clarify that. There is a cloud cover on the 15-minute time frame, okay? Um, mm, 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 mm. Got a squeeze on the 15-minute time frame also, which typically would be looking for something down. Right now, it doesn't look like that squeeze is going to give a whole lot of pressure to the downside, but there is one in here. So cloud cover and a squeeze. We've already swept the liquidity from this little top right here and got the rejection. Dang it, guys. I'm so sorry. I should have been here for it because dang it, dang it, dang it. I just wanted to cover something else. I just figured, just it's slow right now. But like I said, sometimes when it's moving slow like that, you get some sort of a big candle that pops out on it. I know that because sometimes I'll get in my feelings when it starts going slow, and I'll be like trying to move my stop or something like that, and then it gets me. It gets me every time. So, you know, when it creates pain, you don't forget about it. All right. So we went flat on that on the dynamic cloud right there as well. So it could have been all the bulls were able to do. Since we did go flat there, we would need to actually flip this area right here into support, of course, and then that will give us some sort of market structure change here on the 15-minute time frame. But if we're not getting that again, that low here is going to come in right here at this 79,977. It actually reads 79,980, but there's nothing better for me to tell you than to tell you this golden pocket right here. So the 79,977. As long as the 15-minute can maintain above that on any sort of a pullback, then there is a chance that we are going to come up and flip this and keep going. So could be another test back into this or something like that. I'm gonna take this line off. I really wasn't considering this line, but I do like the way it did that initial back test on it. Once I put it on here and saw that, I do like that. But again, there's a cloud cover on the 15-minute time frame with a little bit of a squeeze. Doesn't indicate any major selling pressure. That won't take place unless it breaks down below this golden pocket again, and then it's back to the races. I think that was also what our 382 on the fib, close enough to it, close enough to our 382 right here on the fib retracement level, right there. So bear that in mind before I Cheetos, Cheetos. Looking at this right here. If you don't know, and I say it, I am a momentum trader at heart. I look at support and resistance and all that stuff right there too. Um, but I also like to pay a lot of attention to momentum, a lot of attention to momentum. So uh, price action versus whatever oscillator. So that hit, I don't know. Like to see us continue to push higher. I don't know why I got this line right here, but I'm gonna take that away. Um, And again, I think, um, I think just gonna use the 4-hour time frame. I think even with the situation with the 15-minute time frame, if it does hold, I think that we will probably do something like this. Like I said, coming back up here into this 50% retracement, um, on the more bearish side, coming back into the 50% retracement for rejection, and then a possible drop into the trend line in here. May need to navigate this trend line. I haven't, it's just using the first two touch points in here for me. Um, it's not taking into account this right here. So I would say um, maybe on the lowest you would want to see, and I'm just going to drop a line in here. And I think I did pretty good with dropping that line too. Let me make sure I'm on this. Yep. So even if it's sweeping the liquidity down here, you want to make sure it wicks back up above. Like you want to see a sweep, and hold onto this right here, this level right here. Let me make sure that's not a good weekly level. I mean 4 hour. I'm sorry, 4 hour, 4 hour. Uh, is that the same? Oh, I did some as a line. I did some as I used the zone to make it easier. If I didn't want to use the pivots that I had set for. And see, I haven't even looked at my pivots because, honey, if I looked at my pivots or any of that stuff, that would have been an easy give. I ain't even looked over here at it. I think yeah, I haven't even looked at it. Like I put stuff on my charts. I chart it out, and then sometimes I just forget to look back at it. Like that's all you had to do, honey, to find where your next like. Oh no, no, no. Don't need you getting messed up. This is all I have left. So I won't be sitting here pulling a whole bunch of boxes out. Won't be pulling a whole bunch of boxes out. Let me come over here. I mean, this isn't the exact bottom of this level right here. This trend line right here is, but I just figured I'd speak on this in case it does. Maybe it wants to take liquidity from down there. Maybe it just takes what's in here. If we do come up and we see a rejection from the 50% retracement, I'm thinking this is at least possible from the 4 hour time frame. One or two is going to happen first. Either we're going to see the rejection here and we're going to drop down here and then we're going to bounce back up. But right now, the again, oh, I got one more box up here. I would hate for that to happen. But you can see what that is. I'm looking at the top. I think I only had like two lines right here. And this is taken into account. Like I incorporated the pivots and some of them, and you'll see like there's not another line in here. So you're probably wondering like what else was I looking at when I did that? I'm looking at the um average range with it as well. So if it's outside of one of the pivot lines in here, the box, if it's outside one of those pivot lines, I also took into account the average range. I just figured I'd add all three in together. Both, I meant two, both together. I just figured I'd add both of them into it to give the best reality of where price action might top out. And I usually go for a top and the bottom of the level, the top and the bottom. So uh, very close to tapping into that. Didn't quite tap it, which would have been the average range high. Uh, but if you're using just the pivots, 4 hour, this is 4 hour pivots. This low, it's the same as you can see, 7750.01. But really, as long as this doesn't move, and I hope it doesn't move, you want to make sure price comes back up above this. I don't care about what it hits down here. It needs to wick and come back up above that little line right there. It needs to come back above this line. On the most bearish outlook, on the most bullish outlook, on the most bullish outlook, let me use this other screen. Kind of makes sense. On the most bullish, we take out that liquidity and we probably do something extra. Okay, I can see that good enough to spread it out a little bit. And then volatility does allow us to take that out. So it's still pretty much a bearish option, but not the most bearish option. Most bearish one is going to be if we come down into here. Should be scary thought. Because if we lose this, then the 4 hour could be doing something different, and it could get worse for the 4 hour. Right now, we're still holding up. I keep wanting to click on that. I got too much stuff in here. So you can see how the MACD is trying to curve before it loses that zero. It's trying to curve before we lose that. Now, the last time we did drop below it right through here, that was the first time we got more of a sell-off on it right here with a little bit of uncertainty. Every other time you can see we started to curve out. And we kept it, it started to curve out, and we held it, and we went up. We started to curve out. Right, boom. All right, so we're trying to curve out right now. Maybe we hold it and we get that turn back up, which means that we would have to, looks like we might want to have to hold where we are, or at least if we swept this, then we would just curve out and we would come back up. So it's like 74. It's not too far. It's not too much. Yeah, 74. 74. Yeah. I could match with 74. That could. That could. Like I said, you'll know if it's gone because it's simply those two crossing. Just like back here. It's those two crossing right there. So 12 and 26 EMA. 12 and 26 EMA is your slow signal on the MACD. Like I said, as long as the MACD is above the 0, then, you really don't know what the outcome is below 0. It could just roll and just not stop rolling, but like right here, it came real close, but it curved back up. We're purple right now. We're trying to curve up. So hopefully that works. Hopefully we're purple right now. We're trying to curve up. See, we swiped it right there, but yeah, we're real close to comfort. So on a less bearish note, maybe something like this. On a more bearish note, we could end up I hate to see us break this line. Yeah, we're rolling over. I didn't get to do my TP. Change this number. Oh, I can't. You can't change numbers on this. Okay, it's somewhere around here though. I missed it. Some danger right here. So maybe we just sweep this liquidity. Maybe that's all we do, and then we come up and we take out that high right there. Or, like I said, if it gets into here and then it doesn't manage to hold, and this is a solid number for now. If it gets into here and it doesn't manage to hold, right where we have this ascending trend line right here of support, we only had the two connecting points on it. We didn't quite tap it with that move right there. We could start to roll over a lot more here on the 4-hour time frame. Kind of leaning towards this actually helping, but I don't know. It's the weekend, so it is as it is. I guess we're about to test that right now, and then we're gonna go because this is why I said we needed to hold on the 15-minute time frame. So, uh, I won't be ignorant though, and I will set my stop loss in here for break even. No sense in not. No sense in not. Gotta hold this. Gotta hold right here. Gotta hold right here. And I just keep it real with you. Nothing looks like it's really gonna hold it. I mean, nothing looks like it's really gonna hold it. But that, yeah, like I said, that was the suggestion based on what I have. That it would have to hold right here, but it's a lot of stuff that suggests that it doesn't. And when it doesn't, you're gonna drop the mean in here on the RSI. You're gonna drop that. You have to look lower. Um, I think I was looking at something down in here. If that's not past what I was looking at on the, let me see what I'm looking at on 4 hour. I want to make sure everything I'm saying lines up with the 4 hour though. Yeah, this all lines up with the 4 hour. That liquidity here and that line right there, that all lines up with the 4 hour. Um, in the most bearish case scenario. Yeah, this all lines up with the 4 hour information that I shared. I just wanted to double check and make sure I wasn't talking crazy because remember this right here didn't quite tap into it. And then this is around about where I put the line in at. I will sync it. Hold on. No, this right here. I'm sorry. This point right here is around about where I put that low end for the least bearish case would be something like just taking the liquidity from right here and then getting a bounce up, which is somewhere around these three little candles right here. Somewhere around those three little candles right here. So that's right in here. That's right in here. Basically on this liquidity. So I'm gonna change this. I moved it slightly. So it's right there. And I'll leave it like that for the 15. All right. All right. It's at the mean for everything. Everything that I would look at, it's at the mean for everything. 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 It's sitting around about a 20 SMA. Uh, at the RSI mean. My worst long entry position, which was the 80,000, I went ahead and let it stop me out on that one. The other one is still open because it hasn't tapped into that one. I actually took a more decent entry on that one, which is the one I was looking to take TP off of once if we did get the break above here for the liquidity. Looking forward to do exactly what it did over here, which is not visible. Um, but I missed that take profit on it. So I stop losses in place. If it stops out, then it stops out. I just don't believe it holds. But with that said, I told you what I'm looking at. So basically, I guess the most bullish case scenario would be it held here, and then we somehow pushed up off of that 4 hour to take the liquidity from the top side right there. That would be it. On the more bearish side, the least bearish is going to be bouncing somewhere from right here and then pushing back up. The more bearish is going to be if it loses the danger level, which I just did a sync on, and for some reason it doesn't show up there. So let me see why. Visibility minutes. There it is. The most bearish case scenario would be if it took all the liquidity from this low in here and it did not just be a liquidity grab. So if it fails on a liquidity grab, if it's not a sweep and go, then I don't know. I don't know how strong this test is going to be into here because the 4 hour could, if this just doesn't seem like it's going to hold to me, but it's trying. It's trying. It's trying. It is trying. All right. So it is Friday. Most of the money left the market yesterday anyway. So it's Friday. Nobody knows what the weekend is going to hold. I won't see you over the weekend. I will be doing my gig over the weekend. So I won't see you after this. See you back on Monday at 6 a.m. I appreciate you all for stopping by. See you next week, my Crypto YT. Thank you so much. You the best. You are the best. The best. All right. So good luck to you if you are trading. If you're short, I mean, good luck to you. I do still have my little shorts. So um, the little short is okay. The little short is up 64%. So the little short is working. It's only 20% left of I wish I'd have felt more confident about that short. I didn't. I was good enough to take it though. Because even when you're scared, you gotta try if it's looking crappy, right? Um let me look at CME gap before I go. Wake me up before you go. Yeah, still got some more of that gap up there, but I mean the market don't really care. You got this gap down here, smaller one, can't really identify it. This is around about where we're talking about on that chart too. So on that 4 hour, I think this matches up. Is that 70? What is this? 78.6, 78.3. Yep, exactly. Right here, baby. But we'll see. Best of luck to you. That works. I hope that holds. Can't guarantee it. Doesn't look like it will. But see you on Monday.